We're in today with the legendary RTX 2080 Ti. This is a 2018 video card from MSI. It's got 4352 shaders, 11 gig of VRAM at 352 bits bus width with DirectX 12 support, running at 1350 MHz on the core clock with 1750 MHz on the memory clock. We're gonna pair it up with this i9-10 Gen. I'm gonna see if this is the solution for 1080p gaming, 4K gaming, or even efficient gaming, because it's very important nowadays to make the system more efficient. If you don't need the high FPS, you don't need competitive FPS. Let's jump in a couple of games and see how this whole system is holding. Let's start with Fortnite. This is the way I want to play. It's with performance mode on 1080p with 100% render scale, view distance on epic, and nearly everything on low details. Very important to understand that on high performance mode, it's very achievable to get the maximum FPS for the monitor that I have, 240 Hz. So like this, if I lock it to 240 Hz, then I will get the best performance from this video card. The stress on the GPU, there is none. There is no stress on the GPU, 1.5 gig of VRAM, 30% load, 300 FPS. Come on, this is the right way to do it if I want to use the DisplayPort. On the system side, there is no stress. So with DirectX 11 performance mode, this is the solution for my computer to have the highest performance in order for me to get the best performance of my game, you know. So if I want to progress, I think DirectX 11 in performance mode with 2080 Ti will be ideal. All right, let's say you don't want performance mode, you want DirectX 11. So I put it on to DirectX 11 on 1080p, and I put anti-aliasing and super resolution on off. You have FXAA, you got DLSS. There's a lot of upscaling in order for you to adjust it in such a way so it performs better for you. But I'm 100% that the 2080 Ti can do the job, but I will keep it here as a base because you need to see if the video card can perform in such a way that you can justify a high refresh monitor. So let's jump in. Hundreds of FPS on average with this system on DirectX 11. This is low detail, so I can't complain about the averages because it's on low details, and I don't wanna jinx it, you know. In this occasion, I only got 45 minimals, and this is kind of bad because overall I need better performance on resolutions and qualities like this. Only 9 gig of system RAM utilized. The CPU is underutilized. Let's take a look and see how the GPU is doing. 140 watts, 1.9 gig of VRAM, you know, and only 63 degrees on this video card. And it's kind of good overall. How it performs on DirectX 11, yes, with 4K resolution. Can actually see on 4K that the core is 94% load, yes. 2.7, 72 degrees. Kind of interesting to see this performance from a video card like this. I left the automated fan because I want to see if it's overheating, but I don't want to keep it like that. If there is a problem, I'm going to increase the fan if it's reaching 75 or 78 or something. Under 80, it's okay, you know. So for a big video card like this that is consuming now 250 watts on 4K, I think this is a fantastic idea to have, you know. This is 4K resolution, you know. So now you get to see how this video card is performing. In this case, you can actually put DLSS, you know, put some performance, upscaling, and that's how you get the right FPS for this from this video card, you know. Let's jump into Dota because this is one of those games that need to be seen how it's working with a 2080 Ti, you know. If it's competitive, if you want to play Dota competitive, you need a video card like this, but does it work? Let's start with 1080p. I'm gonna see the other resolution. Ooh, look at this. So what is the problem on this situation? Let's take a look on the GPU. So it doesn't consume. Why is it only 170 FPS? I don't understand. Who's the problem here? The CPU? Okay, I don't understand. Since maybe the CPU is like 4.8 gig, you know. I can see some threads going on maximum. Yeah, no, there's a couple of threads that are reaching maximum on the CPU. Come on, I have to overclock the CPU in order to get better performance. Damn, Daniel, Got 11.1 gig of system RAM, so I was curious, why is this video card not performing that well? Even in a fight, I got over 120 FPS, but do remember, this is maximum details. So, yeah, apparently you need a faster CPU here. Wow. Oh, Pook, you did it so well. On the GPU side, apparently you got no problems. Got 70 watts consumption, 2.1 gig of VRAM use, 67 degrees on the hotspot on the GPU, so the GPU is actually cool. And only 1200 RPM in order to keep this video card like this. So on maximum details, 2080 Ti, it's got no problems. Apparently this is not about details of the GPU, it's about the CPU itself. So now it's 4K. Look at this. The CPU became stressless. Now the GPU, on the other hand, with maximum details, you can actually see it's got like nearly 70% load on the core, 3 gig of VRAM, and still the same amount of system RAM used. So yes, overall it's doing fantastic. 180 FPS on average on 4K with 47 on minimal. The system is not very stressed with 70 watts consumption on the CPU and 11 gig of system RAM. Yeah, the CPU is doing okay. But on this occasion, on this resolution, 71 degrees on the GPU and nearly 80% load. Do you want to use the video card like this? Yes, 4K, it's actually good for Dota 2 and it helps the CPU on the other hand. It's got a lot of power and the GPU can take the stress from the game if you want to play on this high resolution. No, big ass monitor to play Dota 2. Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to play like this, seriously. Let's jump into Apex and see how the game is performing on 1080p with low details, without adaptive resolution FPS target. It's very important because with that one it looks very funky. Without it, even on 1080p with low details, it looks good, you know. So after that, we're gonna put everything on maximum and see how the GPU is holding. Is it still good for this? How are we doing? Overall, it's kind of fantastic performance with 140 FPS with 83 on minimal. And I think this is the right way to play the game. There's no problem overall. The system is not stressed. And I think on low details with 1080p, you can actually see that the whole thing is kind of fantastic overall with 40% only load. Let's jump in now and see how it runs with maximum details. Really nice performance overall. 10 gig of system RAM utilized by this computer, you know, with 143 FPS on average. Not that bad, you know. So I will say this is an achievement for this video card. It's not fully utilized, the video card, but it does the job really nice. You know, 40-60% load, 5.4 gig of VRAM utilized, and I think this is enough so you can get the best performance from this. I want to swap it to the GPU so I can see how the GPU is performing. 68 degrees with only 1900 RPM, and the video card is still capable of delivering performances. You know, it reached on 5.9 gig of VRAM at under 200 watts. I think this is a good performance. When it comes to Apex, this 2080 Ti is just killing it. You know, it's a fantastic performance. I'm thinking that if you want to play Counter-Strike with a video card like this, you have to put everything on maximum. So I selected very high as a preset to see how the GPU is performing. And I think it's gonna do wonders. Let's jump in. Not gonna lie, it looks and it runs really fantastic. Overall, the system is not being stressed. 30-40% load on the CPU, barely any load. You can actually see that. Let's see, how much is it? Like 100 watts on the CPU. Not bad consumption on the CPU. That means it's doing the job. Even though it's 30-40% load on the CPU, that means it's being utilized in a couple of cores. On the GPU side, I got like 71 degrees on the GPU with 70-80% load, like 200 watts consumption from the video card with 5.1 gig of VRAM utilized. Even the hotspot is getting higher, you know, like 86 degrees on it, and 2300 RPM needed to get this temperature. It's a very interesting performance overall from this video card. Let's see how it's running with higher resolution, because here we got on 1080p 230 FPS on average and 86 on minimals. I'm curious how it's working with higher resolution. On 4K apparently we are getting 90 to 100 FPS. So if you're interested on maximum details, as a preset to play Counter-Strike 2 with this 2080 Ti, you can achieve 70 to 100 FPS, depending on the average. The minimals, I'm actually curious about the minimals, how they are. 14 on minimals and 62 on 1%. Oh, come on. You actually see that on 1080p, the performance on the CPU was much higher, so it was consuming around 100 watts. Now that I swapped this to 4K, the load was taken to the GPU and the CPU got distressed, like 50 to 60 watts consumption, 13-14 percent load on the CPU, and 10 gig of system RAM. That's actually cool. But now the GPU is 98% load on the core, 8 gig of VRAM. Come on. So if you're interested on 4K gaming on high details, maximum details in Counter-Strike, you need to understand you need more than 8 gig of VRAM on the GPU, and this video card can deliver. Yeah, 90 degrees on the hotspot. That's the only thing I wanted to see. If you're interested on actually playing it, you can do. What, Dragomir? What are you doing? What? Let's jump into World of Tanks and see how this 2080 Ti is running on maximum detail on 1080p. 64 degrees on the GPU with 230 watts consumption. That's a very big beast of a video card. Playing World of Tanks and heating up the room, it's a life achievement here. With 200 FPS on average, sometimes apparently it drops in 150. It depends. This is window mode, and I think on full screen it will have even higher FPS. So exclusivity on full screen is very important, but on locking the FPS to 60 FPS you need window mode. I like what I'm seeing from this video card, seriously. Nearly 200 FPS on average, 190. There's a lot of FPS and there's a lot of things that this GPU can offer, you know. So in this case, I think there's a lot of performance that is unneeded, you know. And 240 watts consumption. No, I don't need this amount of. You can actually see with 2000 RPM, the GPU sits in a nice temperature. 3.4 gig of VRAM utilized. It's doing a fantastic job considering its maximum details, you know. And in this occasion, let's see if we can we put 60 FPS here. On 60 FPS, we get nice averages, you know. 60 FPS with this video card, we get like 18 minimals, and not very okay. 48 on 1%. 70-80 watts consumption. That's what I want from this video card. And 67 degrees on the hotspot. That means the GPU doesn't have to push too much on that fan. So with 1600 RPM, the video card is getting a nice temperature. So we're on 4K. Apparently we getting a nice performance from overall computer. I like this idea of 4K in World of Tanks. This is a free-to-play game, so you need to understand it's well deserved here, you know. So can I go there now? All right. But on the GPU side, I got 260 watts consumption from the video card, and it's kind of freaky to see this video card running at 74 degrees, you know. Not bad, and using only 4.5 gig of VRAM, averaging 56 on minimals and 80 on 1%. 100 FPS on 4K. I think overall the GPU is doing a fantastic job when it comes to competitive resolutions like 1080p with high FPS versus 4K resolution with high details. Apparently, majority of the game that is free to play or there's a lot of players online, they are not, how should I say, they are not very demanding, and you can use this video card on that resolution. It's still capable. It's getting very cheap, this video card. Plus, it's got 11 gig of VRAM. So if you intend to use other games that are more demanding on the VRAM, you got that option. But in this situation, I just wanted to show you how it performs 1080p versus 4K, which are the numbers in this situation. And it did fantastic, you know. This video card it's like the future solution for 4K gaming, you know. And I think nowadays, because it's getting cheap, this will be a very good alternative. The only downside to this video card is 260 watts consumption, real. Minimal 600 only for the video card, and if you add the CPU and all the components from the computer, I think you need to have at least 800 watts or even 1000 watts power supply in order to deliver this performance with the computer. Do I like the video card? Yes, it's a fantastic video card. Do I recommend it? Yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna recommend this because this is the new, how shall I say, the new option today for 4K gaming. I think this is it, you know? If you're not interested on getting a 3060 or something like that, I think this is a good alternative and it still has a lot of power for the future, if it makes any sense. Good performance on the core, a lot of VRAM, it's got a big bus weight, it's getting cheap. That's it. This video card was awesome, is awesome, and is still going to be awesome in the future.